Tuesday. We are so excited because today is...
It's Taco Tuesday!
No. It's Tech Tuesday with the Tech Trio.
The MV Tech Trio loves technology, but we know that technology can also be a distraction.
Oh, sorry. I was playing Fortnite.
You're not the only one who loves to play video games.
Video games, YouTube, emailing their friends, all of these can distract the students in your classroom. But we are here today to share a solution.
Apple Classroom is an app that allows teachers to view the screens and control student iPads and MacBooks.
You will need to be running the Mojave operating system 10.14.4 or later to use the app.
So, if you haven't had your MacBook re-imaged in a while, contact your lab assistant.
To use Apple Classroom with student iPads, your teacher iPad will need to be running iOS 12.2 or later. If you're not sure if your device meets these requirements, check with your lab assistants.
The other important point to remember when using Apple Classroom is that all devices will need to have Bluetooth turned on and be on the same Wi-Fi network.
Well, it looks like we might need to use Apple Classroom here to help us with Jeff. His screen time is getting a little out of control. But while we work on that, here's a brief introduction to using the Classroom app.
We are the
MV Tech Trio.
If you're using Classroom on the iPad, it's very similar to the MacBook. You're going to download the app from the App Store, and once you have it downloaded, you're going to open it up, and then you'll just set up, first give it some teacher information. This will be the name that appears to your students. So I'm just going to type Mrs. Kissinger. And then create a class, and once again you'll pick the class name. So let's just say language arts, and then we can put period 3, pick your icon and a color, and then you have the class created. And just like on the MacBook, you're going to open up that class and you will invite students in order to get the code. And here's the code. So now let's take a look at what that is going to look like on the student side. To invite students to their class that they've created, they're going to hit that and they'll get a code generated. Then when the students open their settings app on their iPad, they will see Classroom appear as long as they have their Bluetooth on and they're on the same Wi-Fi as the teacher's iPad. They'll see add the class that they want to add, so go ahead and click on add Mrs. Parker's class. And the first thing they'll need to do is put in their first name. And then go ahead and type your last name. And this will help you to identify whose iPad it is when they join your class. Okay, and then after they've entered their name, they're going to go ahead and put in the code. So type 4710 for your class. And now you see that the ad turned blue, and they can go ahead and click on the ad. And then you'll see them appear in the student window. And then you click add, and now they appear in your classroom. Okay, now that several students have been added to the class, you can see their names appearing here, and it'll tell me several things, give me several information in here. So for instance, I have 2 students who are in Prodigy, 1 student who has gone into Math Blaster, and these 2 students who are in other apps. But if I click on the screens up here, I can specifically see what they are, what program they are using. And for instance, if I want to see what Bradley's doing in Math Blaster, I can bring that screen up and view her entire screen so I can see specifically what she is doing. And I can do that for the other students as well. If she's doing something I don't want her to do, if her sound is up and I want to mute the sound, I can click on that, or I can lock her screen to prevent her from doing that. This would be a really good classroom management tool. If you're wanting to talk to all the students, you can freeze the screens and then they are forced to stop and listen to you, give directions. And then when I am done, I can unlock, and then they can use their iPad again. Then you can also go up here and just lock all of the iPads at once rather than locking them individually, or just lock one at a time. So those are some basics that you can do. There are some more advanced features, like opening certain apps to all the students or pushing out websites to all the students. If you want more information, contact one of the IT department, Stacy, I, or Jeff, and we'll be glad to come out and show you some more about Apple Classroom.
So I use Apple Classroom on a daily basis to push out apps. If, for example, if we're going to be playing Kahoot as a review, the kids will get their iPads out, and I already have it pushed out to their iPad to go ahead and get on Kahoot through Apple Classroom. Another thing that I do is I just monitor students if they're supposed to be working on iReady or iExcel, and they've asked to use their apps. I do allow for them to sit on bean bags, to sit in the swing, to go to the calming room if they need to work. So I can always monitor kids from Apple Classroom and what they're actually on, and if I see a kid possibly on a different app than what they're supposed to be on, I can always lock that, and it makes the kid come to me and ask, like, why is my app locked or my iPad locked? And I can always tell them, because you weren't on what I asked you to do. So I use that as a classroom management tool as well.
Started. The first thing we need to do is download the Apple Classroom app. Open up the App Store and search for Apple Classroom. I have already downloaded the Apple Classroom app, but you'll want to go ahead and do the get and install. You will need to use your own Apple ID account in order to download it, because the school is now using your school email. So if you need help getting your Apple ID account set up so that you can download the app, just let one of us know and we can do that. But once you have downloaded the app, you're just going to go ahead and install that. If you are using your school MacBook, it will ask you to put in the user ID and password in order to install new software onto the MacBook. So if you need that password and username, you can get with your computer assistants, and they can get that information to you, or contact one of us in the IT department. Now it's downloaded, so we're going to go ahead and open it. And I have already created a test class in here, but it is very simple to create a test class, or to create a class. I'm just going to click on here, pick the class name that will be displayed. So for instance, if I have a language arts classroom, I will call my classroom language arts. And if you're at the junior high or high school and you have multiple periods, you might say period 1. You do not have to do a description, but that is where you could also put period 1. Pick an icon for your class, and then you can also pick a color and then create that class. So now I have 2 classes set up. You can continue setting up all the sections of your classes, and once you have those, when students come to class with their MacBooks, you want to open up the class that they are in, and you'll get a link here to invite students. So you'll click on this button, and it will give you a 4-digit code. This is the code that students will enter on their MacBooks in order to populate into your classroom. So your setup pretty much is simply done on this side. So we're going to stop now and show what the students will see when they log in. Once the teacher has set up a class, the students are going to go open their system preferences, and they'll see the classroom app appear. They need to be in the same classroom as the teacher for proximity. Then they'll see the add class button for the class, and they'll have to enter the code from the teacher and then click add class. Then they'll wait for the teacher to approve. The teacher will approve them, and then they'll be added into the classroom. We are now showing Lucy Steinhardt's Apex class, and these are her students, and she can click on screens at the top here, and she'll be able to see what each of those students is working on. And she can see who is not logged in. So right now she can see maybe that Vanessa is offline. She's got everybody else is working in Google Chrome. So this is a great classroom management tool.